This is, in my experience, the single most common way instructors accidentally trip themselves up in Canvas. Not because the settings are complicated, but because dates that look fine on your syllabus can quietly contradict each other or trigger confusing system errors. Let's look at how Canvas dates actually interact. Here's a common setup: a quiz with a 30-minute time limit, set as available from 1 p.m. with a due date and until date of 1:30 p.m. Now at a glance, it looks tight and controlled. Students have exactly 30 minutes, right? Not quite. Because the window is open until 1:30 p.m., a student can still click Start at 1:29 p.m., 1 minute before the window closes. And once they start, Canvas honors their full 30-minute timer. That student isn't finishing at 1:30, they're finishing at 1:59 p.m., nearly half an hour after the window you thought you locked down and 29 minutes late. But Canvas has still accepted it as an attempt, even though it marks it late. So naturally, instructors try to fix this by pulling the until date back to 1 p.m. so no one can start late. But watch what happens when you try that. Canvas throws a red error warning stating until date cannot be before due date. Canvas enforces a strict rule. Available from must be less than or equal to due date, and due date must be less than or equal to until date. Your until date can never be earlier than your due date. Here's how to align those settings with your actual syllabus policy. If you have a no late work policy, you must set your until date to match your due date exactly. For example, both must be 1:30 p.m., leaving you to deal with telling a student their completed work won't be graded even though Canvas allowed them to take the quiz. Or, if you allow late work for partial credit, if you leave the until date open or later, Canvas will allow the student to submit it late and tag it red in SpeedGrader. For any timed quiz, whether it ends at 1:30 p.m. or end of day, 11:59, Canvas lets a student start right up until the until timestamp, and their timer will run past that deadline unless the until date hard locks them out. Just remember the hard and fast rule of Canvas dates. Available from less than or equal to due date, less than or equal to until date. Matching your Canvas settings to your actual syllabus policy saves you from system errors in the editor and awkward late submission disputes in SpeedGrader.